Welcome, Ultraers, Switchy Sisters, and Danonites alike to episode 39 of the weekly episodic gaming adjacent livestream podcast show. This is Switch to Ultra on Tuesday nights, just like I said. This is set 1 week before another 2-week hiatus, and I gotta say, knowing what we now know now, I could not have picked a worse time to go on a break. And I hope that the next direct isn't until later in February. I'm your co-parent, BHultra.
And I'm your co-parent, Switchy.
And I'm your Funkle Dan.
And let me ask you guys, we didn't really discuss this ahead of time. Have you guys been enjoying this new Dixie Kong update for Donkey Kong Country Returns HD?
Oh, yeah. I've been loving it.
A story that broke live last week.
All I've been playing.
That's what's interesting is that, for the most part, more often than not, I mean, this is something we've covered before on the show, that it seems like not even just like Nintendo releases, but Nintendo announcements altogether tend to happen on Thursdays. Like, we put together a whole like Thursday guide of what the future looks like, of what we knew at the tail end of last year. But I feel like occasionally we get little Tuesdays sprinkled in there. We got the Donkey Kong update. I mean, that was just a random innocuous update. But speaking of, it seems like we got a number of random innocuous updates. I feel like we have a lot to cover, so we should just jump fully into what has happened this week, and we're starting here with this Splatoon 3 version 11.0.0. Now, a lot of these major Nintendo games get updates from time to time, little intermittent numbers within them, but 11.0.0 seems not definitive. I added too many syllables to that, but
Definitive.
Like major, as opposed to like 10.5 point whatever. Like, for comparison, whenever we got a major number update for, like, Smash Bros., that added a new character. Like, 11.0.0 would have been, like, Minecraft Steve or something. And I have weirdly, in comparison to, like, why people play Splatoon, have only played the Splatoon 3 campaign. And that goes with, like, all of the Splatoon games. I haven't played a lot of online. It's one of those games that... And I feel like this more and more with other games, or just with every online game, that I kind of don't want to play with randos anyway. And I haven't been able to properly put together a squad like this. Do you guys have any standing in the Splatoon community?
I never got Splatoon 3. I just never did.
You know, neither did I. I never got Splatoon 1, and I was a little late on that anyway. I think our servers were shut down, right? That makes sense.
Yeah. I did a stream last year on... Yeah. Or no, maybe it was 2 years ago of, like, playing Smash for Wii U and Mario Maker and Splatoon, because that was, like, the last day they were still up. And that was 24, I think.
Well, either way, I never got into Splatoon 1. Splatoon 1. I did get Splatoon 2. It was on sale for something. And I had fun with it. I enjoyed it. I kind of, like, grew out of it, but I enjoyed it for what it was. I kind of got later into the cycle. Mm-hmm. And then, like, Splatoon 3 comes out, and I'm like... Did we need a Splatoon 3 this quickly? Did we need it, like, right now? I feel like we could have gotten it on the next gen, because, like, I'm thinking... I actually don't know this. Did they make any, like, major changes to, like, the gameplay of Splatoon 3 versus Splatoon 2, other than the story, which I don't even know. Is that, like, a big change?
Well, this is the interesting thing, is you say that you predominantly played... 2 and then maybe 1, but like 2, 3, and then Switchy says like 1 and 2. I predominantly played 1 and 3. Because that was the deal, and we talked about this last time as well. The pitch of a Switch 2 edition is that it doesn't hit the same as the first year of the Nintendo Switch, because there were a ton of people that already didn't have Wii U's. And Splatoon 2, to my understanding, is just like Splatoon 1, but on the Switch. Granted, there's like a multi-year gap, but like it's only like 2 years.
Well, not even. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's 2 years. It's
yeah. So like I obviously got Splatoon on the Wii U because I owned a Wii U, and I didn't care what the Wii U game was. If it was a Wii U game made by Nintendo, I got it. Just because there were slim pickings at the time. I never ended up playing 3D World until it was on the Switch. I don't know why I felt so strongly about it. I think I was in like the Galaxy and 64 camp that like it wasn't either of those games. Or maybe I was just checked out of the Wii U at the time. But yeah, I played 3... because that came out in 2022, and by that point I was streaming pretty regularly, and I was like, oh, this is a major Nintendo release, I reacted to the Direct, I should play this game. Whereas when Splatoon 2 came out, it was, like I said, just Splatoon for the Switch, and there were already a lot of games I wanted to play on the Switch anyway. Like, I double dipped when it came to Pokken and Mario Kart, but that's basically as far as I would go. So I don't think any of us know if 3 is a major change from 2.
I imagine like really big Splatoon fans will say yes, but I think for like a layman, just someone who kind of sees the game, kind of sees what's going on, maybe like picks it up for a little bit, it's not going to be like that. You know,
I mean, despite this being like a prime like first number update, it does seem like it's mainly just balancing stuff. And for the most part, like we've seen.
Interesting.
No, go ahead.
They're doing health bars. Like that seems very anti-Splatoon in a way.
It does seem like all of the random updates we've gotten have been making things easier. Like with Mario Kart World, all of the intermittent updates we've gotten are just like easier ways of unlocking the characters. Technically, this Donkey Kong Country Returns update like adds an easy mode, right? Well, maybe no, sorry, I'm misremembering with the direct I watched. It's one of these many tabs up here. I believe it is this one. Yeah, the Super Mario Wonder. This wasn't even a direct. This was just a trailer where they added an even more easy mode to this that already had an easy mode built in. And I don't know if you guys remember, but back in the day, when I say back in the day, I guess it's almost been a decade. I'm Unk now. That when Smash Ultimate first came out, unlocking the characters was legitimately difficult because the CPU players were really hard to beat, and that was sort of like a chip. You could be like, hey, I beat this character, I unlocked this character, yeah, I'm pretty good at the game. But then like a week or so in, they updated it to make the CPUs a little weaker. So I feel like this is a Nintendo thing that they just add. Not that it makes the game easier per se, but it lowers the barrier of entry. The health bar. But it also seems, remaining health from when you've been hit previously. So yeah, I don't, in comparison to the others, but I guess like if we are comparing this to other games, this seems strange. Like this sort of seems like a Donkey Kong situation. Oh, they just randomly added Dixie Kong for no reason. But I feel like, and again, I'm not super in with the community, maybe we should have flown in an expert or something, that Splatoon 3 has been getting regular updates, like to my understanding, or at least they've been holding Splat events. Or maybe, if I remember correctly, there was like the final Splat event but that was Splatoon 2, I think.
That was Splatoon. I don't think there's been a final Splat event, Splatfest.
Yeah.
For
like
Splatoon
they're still
3 yet,
supporting.
I also haven't heard like hide or hair in a while, but maybe that's just because I'm out of the loop.
Right. This just seems to be, I mean, it's definitely like the first update in a long while, but this has been the argument for a lot of games when it comes to, I mean, we've talked about Smash Bros, especially last time, about whether we think it's going to be like a new game, a fully new game, or a Nintendo Switch 2 edition. And I just like split the difference. So I'm like, fuck it, it's going to be both. The argument of does an update or a Switch 2 edition mean we're not going to get one soon? And the belief is like the last Switch 2 edition we got that has been released is an Animal Crossing Switch 2 edition. So it's really just an argument of if we believe that means that, oh, they're working on this Switch 2 edition, so there's not going to be a new Animal Crossing for a while, or they have a little bit of a skeleton crew working on these games, creating these updates and quality of life changes while the major team works on a new game. Would you guys say that you think that a Switch 2 edition would necessarily deconfirm a game coming soon?
I don't know about necessarily, although that's kind of, a safe take to make. I think that just in general, I think it just really depends on, first of all, the size of the expansion. Like, for example, Animal Crossing, like I don't really think that pushes specifically. Like it's such a small update that I wouldn't be surprised if we get a new Animal Crossing in the next couple of years. Like that wouldn't be bonkers to me.
Right.
But I think I can't think of any examples, but well, I guess like what are some of the big Switch 2 editions?
The argument kind of applies to Donkey Kong as well, because I feel like I mean we talked about this last time that I was very outwardly like, oh, there's not going to be a 3D Mario because the 3D Mario team worked on Donkey Kong. But, and also in comparison to Smash Bros, that doesn't necessarily mean that there isn't like another team working on it.
Yeah.
As far as these updates,
I mean,
oh no, you got.
I also just think Nintendo's weird. Like,
Yeah, we've
they,
learned that a
they
lot
do
this
weird
month.
things. I don't understand their thought process. Like, releasing certain things that don't make sense given other options. Like, they can do it. It just, why would you do that? Like, why would that be something you would do?
Why would you
Like, I'm
wait a
not
year to
complaining,
update
but
Donkey Kong Country Returns HD?
mm,
And why would that be an update anyway? Why wouldn't that just be built? The more I hear about that game, the more it confuses me. Because there's no way it was like
well,
in development for a while.
well, apparently, it used the 3DS version had an issue with co-op where you could not like bounce off an enemy after someone bounced off of it, so it kind of ruined co-op. And it took the logic of that for the Switch version, so co-op was basically almost impossible for the Switch version. And then with this recent update, they fixed it, so now it's like it's still the enemy is still there even after you bounce off of it for the second player for like a split second, so it feels like the original game again. So that's been fixed now.
Oh, I didn't even know that. I saw a bunch of thumbnails of people being like, "A multiplayer is finally fixed," but I assumed they were just really big fans of Dixie Kong.
No, it was actually like it was like really broken. Like you like there you could get through a good amount of the game, but there's some levels, especially the challenge levels, where the game logic relies on the fact that like that split second is still there for that other player. And if that's not coded in, then it's broken. And it's basically like you can't even do co-op. You can't even go through the entire game co-op. So I'm glad that they actually did go back and fix that at the very least. That
Yeah, I guess I
was,
didn't. No, go ahead. Sorry.
I was saying like that should have been something they should have done and should not have taken a year to do. But I'm glad that they actually did it.
I mean, it's a full priced release, and I don't want to say like it looks bad. It looks bad for the price point, I suppose. But it did kind of feel like it was, despite it being pitched as or sold as like, oh, this is the port of the Wii game, because it didn't require the rumble controls, or I guess the motion controls. It was built more off of the 3DS version. I think that was pretty like noticeable. But I preferred it because honestly, I didn't love the Wii game when I first played it because of the, I don't want to say over-reliance on motion controls, because you can really do without it. Like, you don't need to slam, well, I guess you do. For some levels, you do need to slam the ground. And it's a little annoying, but it's not enough to ruin the game. But for me, it was, I guess, or it just didn't stand out amongst the other 2D platformer games. I was more of a Kirby Epic Yarn kind of guy. But on top of this update, if I'm assuming that this tab is correct, I believe this is, this is the upcoming update for Kirby Air Riders. And GameShare is now
released at this point.
Yeah, GameShare is now fully supported. You know, I want to look in the fine print of this, because every time I look at something with GameShare, there's always something in the fine print.
I can confirm it is online GameShare. So
All right.
you can do GameShare online with Kirby Air Riders, something you cannot do with Mario Party Jamboree.
Yeah, which we've learned. Okay, well, this already bumps it up to top status. I was thinking that all throughout the tail end of last year, is that Kirby Air Riders was really sneaking up on that best game of the year, or best Switch exclusive, but I think game of the year spot as I was playing it. And I was like, oh, I don't know, is there a recency bias, or do I just really love this game? And then last Thursday, because I didn't have to play Animal Crossing, I wanted to split the 3-hour stream across multiple like Switch 2 games, because I think a lot of them work as a pick up and play thing, like playing Animal Crossing for 18 hours, playing Tears of the Kingdom for 18 minutes, playing Tears of the Kingdom for 18 minutes. I don't even think you could play Animal Crossing for 18 hours. Doing all those individually, and the second like my fingers touched the buttons and returning to Bonanza, I was like, oh no, sorry, no, I was mistaken. This is the best game. It was so instant that, like, Bonanza is, yes. That I sort of eluded myself into thinking that Air Riders was, but it feels so good to move around, and it's so... It's slick, it's easy, like, it immediately clicks. But I still really love Air Riders. I'll give that the number 2 slot. Today is
totally get that.
this already released, yeah. And then a new game mode Grand Prix is now available for air ride matches in paddocks. Players will participate in multiple races where the winner is determined by overall points. Okay, so it just combines multiple air ride races, right?
Yeah, so it's like a normal Grand Prix, basically.
Is
I
it
don't know
4
exactly
races?
what points entails. I don't. I haven't played it. I don't know. But it just sounds like it's gonna be like a series of races and then going through that and yeah, I think probably it's I'm not complaining. It's a cool mode.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's paddock online only. I think it wouldn't hurt to have an offline option, but that's just me.
Oh, you can't. Does that mean you can't do Grand Prix offline because it's like built into the paddock?
Yeah, it's paddock
Okay.
only. It's not like that big a deal. It's
Yeah.
it's so quick to get into and out of races, so it's not a big deal. But like,
I mean, in the
it's, I think it would be nice.
yeah, I feel like I'm often comparing any Sakurai game to Smash Bros. And I remember like not my biggest issue, but like the most glaring one is like how weird it was that there were certain game modes that you just couldn't play online. Like you couldn't do Squad Strike or Smashdown. This always stood out as weird because like those were the ones that I would want to play when people were over because it was the only opportunity to do so. But when you're in like a pandemic or at school and across different households, you really can't do that unless you like makeshift do it yourself. You just say, okay, we played this character, we can't anymore. Twitch chat is wondering, didn't he make a big deal about we're never gonna update this game? Interesting point. Yeah, he did say
asked
that.
The same thing yesterday. I mean, to be fair, did he say never update the game, or did he say like there was not going to be any like DLC expansion?
He said no DLC. But this is a new game mode.
Major updates. That's not even like a new game mode, from what I can tell. It looks like it's basically kind of tacked on. Like it's not exactly. It's a new game mode. It's literally just air ride with extra steps. It's not like a new course or something. I think like. I'm glad that they're not like dropping support for it yet, because some of that early stuff was ridiculous. The whole thing with Dynablade and the halberd. I still haven't seen the halberd, by the way. That's ridiculous. I'm crying because it's not even just seeing the halberd; it's you have to land on it and then don't even get started.
Every time I get that one and it shows up, I'm always in the wagon and there's no recourse for finding anything else because it's later into the match. I'm like, well, I'm not gonna make it over there. But this raises the question.
You have it show up.
Right. This raises the question in comparison to Splatoon 3, which has a dedicated community and is still getting regular updates. We know, and I just have Smash on the mind because I'm still working on the Smash video. That will likely be the next thing that goes up on my channel. That they just completely ceased updates for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate after Sora was released. Like, after the final DLC, they occasionally added spirits for spirit events, but, like, balancing was fully done. Like, they stopped doing it, and that's why we're sort of in the condition we are now with Min Min and Kazuya and Steve, that they didn't get as many balances as the other characters, so they're sort of dominating the meta. But quite honestly, I don't even know how you would buff Steve without removing fundamental aspects of his character, but people who are running tournaments are considering banning him, but I think we're over the hump with Smash Bros. Right now. We'll have to see. But I bring that up because that final DLC and the DLC released for 2 or 3 years, let's say 3 years, it was 3 years, after the release of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and then it stopped getting balance patches. And I wouldn't say Kirby Air Riders is like a competitive game, but it does matter which character and which machine you're playing. This seems to be a pretty balanced game as far as I've played of it. I know that like early on, a lot of people were exclusively playing Rick online, but I think that was more for the meme of it all. That, do you think, because we're seeing a list of balance patches here, do you think we're going to get any more Kirby Air Riders updates, and how long do you think that will be stretched out?
Well, not more than like a year for sure.
Yeah, I can't imagine it going into 2027.
Yeah, I would want it.
I mean, for what it's worth, I feel like what I'll call the Sakurai way of doing things, you know, and when I say that, I mean the fact that, like, you know, once Sora came out, they just stopped updating Smash Bros. I feel like even, you know, that's that's like a punchline to a joke. That's like Nintendo being Nintendo. But I feel like that kind of stuff just doesn't fly as much anymore, and I feel like even Nintendo is probably going to stop doing that.
It didn't fly at the time when it happened.
Oh, it didn't fly, but I feel like it flies less and less, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, I don't know, I feel like ostriches, I know, like peacocks, they can like take air for a few minutes or a few seconds, but like, you know, they can't like fly long distances. It's kind of like that.
You have a limited amount of good favor. I guess this isn't a great comparison because those games were like legitimately broken, but they're slowly dwindling just belief in the company when it came to Bethesda games, that games would come out fully broken and busted. And that was just the meme. It's like, oh, well, you know, it's a Bethesda game. They made Skyrim. Fallout 4 comes out and it's like broken. It's like, oh, listen, we know it's a Bethesda game. And then Fallout 76, it's like, yeah, but it's, you know, that's that Bethesda charm. They're always broken a little bit. And then we get to like Starfield, and it seems that the good nature, good fortune, the goodwill has run out, that it's no longer like cute and charming. It's like, oh, it's a broken Bethesda game. It's like, dude, this is a video game and I'm paying for it. Why does it not work? Why is it boring?
Yeah.
You know, I think a big element of that, you know, I don't know if you guys, well, no, you guys are definitely around, but I remember, you know, back in like 2014, 2015,
I was only 7 years old.
I'm pretty sure Sakurai said that he didn't even plan to do, he didn't want to do DLC for Smash 4. Or maybe he said in an interview. I'm pretty sure that was kind of like a discussion point before they showed off Mewtwo. And like, back at that point, there was like, I think in some ways a more rigid ideological opposition to DLC for video games.
Yeah.
In the sense that they believe like, oh yeah, you know, you should sell a game and the game's the game, and you don't like sell more on top of it. Like I think, for better or for worse, like there aren't many I don't feel like there are like still that many, you know, big AAA game companies that resist, you know, doing DLC or expansions and stuff like that. I just think that's like not as much of a thing. I think in many ways, you know, that kind of business model is sort of one. And I don't know, I mean, I think nowadays like even Nintendo has kind of just, you know, drunk the Kool-Aid, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's just a new, like, it's, I'm not saying like, oh, you have to do it or it's going to pass you by, but it is just the way things are now. And let me tell you, because you bring up Smash for Wii U and 3DS as an example, I said earlier, like, oh, I double dipped with these games. I got Pokken Deluxe and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And the idea with those games is that it like bundles together all the DLC characters. Before, and I talked about this in the video, before Ultimate came out, I was content with a Smash 4 Deluxe because I refused to buy any of the DLC in the Wii U era. Like, I love Smash Bros. That was my favorite Wii U game. It's like one of my favorite series. And even then, like it was 2014, 2015, I was so staunchly exactly what you're saying. It's like, no, it's evil to release extra paid content for your game after the fact. And now when we're talking about like a new Smash game, I'm like advocating for a battle pass. Like it has just changed. It's the way things are now.
Yeah. And
I also
don't know,
think it was a lot more like, it was a little bit more egregious with the Wii U era, because with the Wii U era, you also were paying for characters that were in other games. Like you had to pay for that.
Yeah, I feel like that was a thing.
Scummy.
I feel like that was a thing Nintendo consciously wanted to kind of turn around with Smash Ultimate. Whether, I mean, you know, I think back then people were just a lot more dramatic about DLC, especially like I feel like among Nintendo fans. And I say this as someone who's in these circles. Like I think that Nintendo, like a lot of Nintendo fans, I mean even now I think they do, but even back then, like they, especially during the Wii U era, because the Wii U was like so like anti-commercial in a lot of ways. I think there was a sort of belief among Nintendo fans that Nintendo was like above this, and they had like some old school kind of pro-consumer mindset. Maybe not in those words, but like that, you know, DLC was like some stupid like Western shit, and like Nintendo just believes in giving you a full game instead of an unfinished game or whatever.
Back in my day, we used to get the full game on the disc, and it didn't work. Then we had to go to Best Buy to get it fixed. But that's the,
you know,
just about Smash Bros. In general, that my belief when it came to Ultimate, it was like, oh, I've come around on the issue because these are all DLC characters that were developed after the fact. I think that is, I guess, moving the goalpost back. The point of contention is that as long as DLC isn't content that was just like held off on purpose and then resold to you, then it's all good. Like if we're talking about potential,
I remember people talking about it on those terms as well. Like that was like, oh well, you know, they didn't make Mewtwo until after the game came out.
What was the
Sorry,
question?
what'd you say?
I was saying Mewtwo was definitely them kind of like holding off, right?
Yeah. But I don't think it was intentional.
Well, no, I'm pretty sure they said Mewtwo was like, I think. Well, actually, I don't know. I feel like I remember people saying that they started working on Mewtwo after the game was finished, which I'm trying to think of the timeline of that. But
I mean, it could have been unintentional. I just think it also was like,
yeah,
it still happened.
Well,
like,
that was going to be my example too. Is that within looking back at the Smash era from the DLC to write the video that I keep fucking bringing up. I was under the impression that, all of these DLC characters were created after the fact for DLC. And with, like, Steve, they were. Like, the cooperation and the discussion of Steve started in, like, 2015 with the Smash ballot. Not that he was on the Smash ballot, but, like, that's when they started talking to Microsoft. And Sakurai, in a Famitsu column, said that, like, oh, no, Steve was the first character we fully developed over pandemic, like, in our houses. Which means that it was only in development for at least those 7 months, because he released in October, and lockdown happened in, like, March, January, February. So it had to have been that point. However, there were, like, internal, and it's never been outright confirmed, but internal reportings that characters like Byleth and Min Min and Piranha Plant specifically, were planned for base game, but just weren't finished in time. And that's another thing I have to reckon with. Not that, like, there's any, like, moral repercussion of it, but I was under the...
crazy.
Huh?
I guess, I think that's happened before, but, like, I don't know, like, Three Houses wasn't even out. When,
yeah, it got delayed, which is, I think, why they delayed the character.
Oh, is that why?
I believe so. I could be wrong. But there's also, just in the video, that there was a moveset planned for, like, a Monster Hunter character that was then just repurposed for Byleth. There's a lot of stuff like that. Like, some characters just fell through the cracks. Because Sephiroth, when he's added, like, uses a lot of... Not uses, like, animations like they're copied, but it seems like a lot of what they had planned for Alucard before he was given up on and they switched over to Richter and Simon. Because they said, like, in Famitsu, it was like, oh, we plan on doing Alucard, and then late in the game kind of switched to Simon and Richter because those would be more popular, not more popular, but more recognizable Castlevania reps.
Well, Simon, definitely. I mean,
yeah.
Richter... Arguably, I'd say Alucard's definitely more popular than Richter at the very least, but Simon is Simon. I mean,
yeah. I remember when I first saw Richter, I was like, "Who the fuck is this?" But I knew Simon.
Yeah, Simon's little brother.
Richter, his game's great, great game. But wasn't that also the case with like Cloud? Didn't they want Cloud for the base game? But his whole thing is like there's a very complicated thing for Smash 4. Or am I misremembering?
I'm not certain, but I know that, like, once Sephiroth released, we got, because I just edited this bit, we got a lot more music and spirits, because when Cloud was brought into Smash for Wii U and 3DS, he had like 2 songs, and one of them was his victory jingle. There was just it was very limited. And I think
it was the Final Fantasy VII medley and, like, the battle music, like some shit like that.
Yeah, and then the remake happened in between Cloud and Sephiroth in Smash Bros, so they had a little bit more... I guess they were willing to play ball a little more, especially because they got 3 characters across the DLC packs. And 4 if you include the Geno Mii costume. But I wouldn't. I forgot why I even brought this up. The belief that, like, oh, well, these were all characters that were developed after the fact for DLC. It ended up not being the case. But it's not like, oh, man, they purposefully held these off to sell them to us later. I think that Smash Ultimate was just, like, pretty rushed, all things considered. And we don't really notice it because of the later updates. And I guess that's an argument for these post-game major updates, because without the updates, Smash Ultimate would just not have home run contest or I think
was
stage
butthurt about
builder.
home run
It didn't launch with
contest.
stage builder
Stage
either.
builder wasn't there. I remember that also kind of like keyed
Yeah.
me, you know.
So like while they should have been in base game, if there were no post game updates, then it would have been a relatively bare bones project. But in
Like,
the
I
no, you go, sorry.
stage builder I kind of get. Like it's a complex thing. Like I'm glad they brought it in. It should have been in the beginning, but I also understand why they would not want to do it. What would have been so difficult about home run? Like that one I don't get. That's one thing, right? That's one thing. I don't get why that wasn't there.
Maybe I just think that maybe like they just couldn't squeeze it in, like, you know, because I think like implementing a base prototype for home run would have been easy, but just doing all the bug testing and stuff like that, they probably realized like, oh, we can't fit this in the timeline. Let's just do it later. And, you know, on some level, to be fair, you know, I was butthurt about home run contest not being in the game when it first came out, but like, I think I've played it like 2 times ever. So I'm like that like stupid ungrateful fan that doesn't even like do like play the shit he complains about.
Well, I'm still mad about All-Star mode that they committed to that.
I was a little sad about that too.
Right.
Yeah.
The argument is that like, oh, there's too many characters now for All-Star mode. It's like, oh, God forbid I want to play the game more. Also, we have 8-player Smash now. You could have it in the same amount of matches, just add more characters.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we did get like the best classic mode, but
yeah. Oh, I love that.
I mean, especially after what happened with Wii U classic mode. I did not like Wii U classic mode at all. My God.
Like, what was his name in the Battlefield? Something Core, Master Core, and the Master Fortress.
I don't think I ever beat the Master Fortress, honestly.
I don't think I did either. But that was the goal of single player, of just doing that.
I beat the core. I never beat the fortress. I just was like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah. The core transforming into all those different boss fights. But that's, I think, one of our... I guess we could throw it over to that just to do a little update. I was going to wait to go over everything that happened this week. But if we're checking in on all of our predictions, I think that, because we brought up individual Smash games... a common theme, or at least in Switchies here, is the Mario Kart World paid DLC. And that kind of goes into the argument of, like, was that content that was held off, assuming it does happen, nothing's been announced yet, would that have been content that was planned for base game and held off till later, or is it content that they're developing after the fact? Because if it was, like, base game content that's held off, you'd think it would have been announced or released by now.
Yeah, so honestly, I guessed that, but I didn't really think about, like, what would the situation be with it. It just, to me, like, the reason I'm still I've gone back and forth, but the reason right now I'm kind of somewhat convinced is just because it seems like a game they would want to make DLC for. You know, it just... I don't know. And I guess there are things, you know, I want Diddy Kong, you know?
Yeah, we're all also assuming, like, not even just us, just like everyone online as a whole. It's like, oh no, yeah, we're going to get the Mario Kart DLC. But they haven't, like, said anything to support that fact. It just seems like a foregone conclusion.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think, like, it's one thing if it was characters. I think characters and carts and costumes, those are easier to do. But I think they really want to stick to this gimmick of like it being an interconnected world, and I can kind of understand with new courses that being an issue.
That's true.
I still think it's a little bit dumb that they couldn't implement Rainbow Road or like a pseudo Rainbow Road in the open world. I get why, but also it's like that's the one course you cannot go to, and it's just like I feel like that should have been a way to unlock that. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if that gets updated into the game later. It might not even be Rainbow Road itself, maybe like a pseudo Rainbow Road, like I said.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if like that gets added to the game at some point.
Well, because if we're getting new courses, it would either need to be like islands that kind of float up to the Mario Kart World Island, or it would need to be stuff in space. So if it's a bunch of stuff in space, then just like, oh, you unlock the rocket power and you can go up here and fight. Is his name Taranza? Because there's little hints of Taranza in there.
If it's also just like levels that are just not connected, like with the world. or potentially there's like a smaller alternate kind of open world that they let you kind of travel to. It would be kind of clunky, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's what they end up going for.
Giant golden rings spawn on the map and they teleport you to a far off land.
No, like unironically, I feel like that's neat. That would be some
Sonic
bullshit they do.
Sonic Crossworlds, fucking Pokemon. It happens a lot.
Kirby Air Riders.
That's probably true.
It's Tatanga. Taranza's the spider from Kirby.
Oh, of course, my mistake. It's Topanga, right? Well, I mean, we have our lock-ins here, and nobody said anything about it, even though it was sort of, I think we brought it up before in, like, rumblings, but and this is something I only noticed recently, that I've been really locked into anniversaries as of late. And I was making a point on my stream about, like, how I don't hold the same, like, 2016 reverence. So I'm playing games from...
2016 was overrated.
Yeah, I'm playing... I mean, that was the purpose of this fucking ranking. I watched Licorice Pizza. I'll put it here. Anyway, so I've been going back through 2021, watching movies and playing games from it on my Patreon. I've been watching stuff through 2011. There are certain videos I'm making this year that are like 2011 anniversaries. I'm doing a big Adult Swim thing because 2001, it's been 25 years since then, and like I'm playing a lot of Xbox games because the original Xbox is now 25 years. Of all of these different points in time that have been anniversaries, like in my life, like 2001, 2006, I was also playing a Cars license game. 2011, and then skipping right to like 2021. I looked up a list. I'm like, oh yeah, what could even come out this year? Or like, what could we do for an anniversary? What games came out in 2016? I was not aware that Kirby Planet Robobot released in 2016.
Overwatch was 2016, I think.
Whoa, Overwatch 3.
2016,
Overwatch
yeah.
1 Anniversary Edition.
Oh, was it 2015?
No, Overwatch was 2016.
2016. What I'm getting at is, like, this year is 10 years since Robobot. And I feel like we've been hearing about Robobot, not as of late, but just, like, in the ether. Could just be me. But I don't know, we might...
There's always that Robobot, like, remake coming, like, soon.
Coming
apparently.
soon.
We'll see if that actually happens.
Right. I don't know, I think I didn't put it on my list, but more... Not that we're due for anything, but we did get a remake in Return to Dreamland. And we had a traditional 3D game in Kirby and the Forgotten Land. So the last mainline new 2D Kirby adventure was Star Allies in 2018.
Oh, no.
So I think I'm not saying we're gonna get Star Allies. I'm just saying, like, it's possible we get a dedicated new 2D Kirby game. That's not one of my predictions. I wanted to go back to the predictions to see if anything has changed and anyone is right. I don't think anyone is right yet. However, my top two predictions were Tomadachi Gay Relationships and Twilight Princess NSO. And if we could jump over, not to this quite yet, where were we? I'm all over the place here. Oh yeah, this. I believe a Walmart ad that lists a ton of games that are available for NSO, Nintendo Switch Online. Include games like Metroid Prime 2 Echoes and Pikmin 2. Including in the Nintendo GameCube, Nintendo Classics, Nintendo Switch 2 edition. Holy shit, that's a lot of Nintendo. Now, this is big and small, I guess, that we now have confirmation, assuming that Pikmin 2 and Metroid Prime 2 Echoes will be eventually on GameCube Online. And my second prediction was Twilight Princess NSO. And it's only a matter of time. That was half of it. However... there have been a lot of ads, proper marketing material, released officially by Nintendo that have listed off games that will eventually come to Game Boy Advance, to N64, to GameCube. And we haven't seen them in a while. I think all of the games they said they were going to announce for N64 have been released, but obviously since then they released a trailer for the CRT filter, which is only available on the Switch 2, which is very strange. And in the background, they have blurred out box arts for Forsaken 64, Foreskin, which ended up happening. And we still haven't seen... Have we seen Glover?
No, we haven't seen Glover. We
No
haven't seen
Glover.
DK64, damn it. We haven't seen...
Smash.
Smash.
Smash
Those
64.
are, I think, the three. 'Cause
Yeah.
Rayman came out.
The big three, they call them. So I think this probably points that we will be getting Pikmin 2 and Metroid Prime 2 on NSO. hopefully soon, but you never know with I mean, GameCube, I don't want to say it's had like a good rollout, but it feels like every other month or so they've been adding a GameCube game, which is still being drip fed, but it's better than what we got for N64 right now. Because we seem to have predominantly finished NES and Super Nintendo. The only ones we're missing from there are the peripheral games, like all the Rob and Zapper Gun games. There's got to be a way to do that, especially now with the mouse.
They did Duck Hunt with the Wii remotes. You could easily do that with like the Joy-Cons.
Yeah, I don't know how they do like Gyromite unless they unless they re-release the plastic Rob toy at full price. Hey, this is an additional trailer for
this point. Like I could see that happening.
Before we start this.
Oh, I just thought that was a good transition. Okay, yeah. Sorry.
No, I did want to say something with the leak.
Yeah.
Because I will say, so yours was Twilight Princess NSO.
Mm-hmm.
Mine was Twilight Princess like HD port or new HD, or
right?
Like new version or whatever. I think my theory still holds strong. That being said, the fact that Pikmin 2 is here is very weird. Mm-hmm. Like that is a very weird inclusion, because why Pikmin 2? First of all, why Pikmin 2? Why that one above Pikmin 1?
It's the most beloved in the series.
At all, period. Like, why even Pikmin 2 at all? Like,
right.
You would think they'd want to fleece us, shake us down for, like, the Switch re-release, right?
Well, I'm wondering, like...
Yeah, it costs the same amount of money to get a bundle of the 2 Switch games than it would to pay for the service to play Pikmin 2 on GameCube. And the only difference is that unless they went in and changed it in the code on the emulator, which honestly they might have, it'd be funny if they did because they're weird like that, is that this GameCube emulated version should have the brands, and the Switch version does not have the brands. So that is the one difference, and even then, I don't think it's like that. I don't think it was necessary.
Yeah.
And for Metroid Prime 2, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, we haven't gotten Sunshine on GameCube Nintendo Classics, right? Like, that one also hasn't been released?
We haven't gotten that. We haven't gotten any of the Pokemon games.
Right. Well, I'm just saying because, like, we have Sunshine in the 3D collection, but in the 3D collection, it's up-res to widescreen. So I wonder if this Pikmin 2 port, I guess this will be the testing ground, if this will be in I don't want to say proper, you know, to each their own, in original 4:3, because the ports... Wait, sorry, did the Switch ports, did they have widescreen, or is that just...
Yeah, those are widescreen.
Yeah, widescreens for Pikmin 1 plus 2. And I wonder if this will be, like, the original version, like, the original quality of it. Because I don't think they put Mario 64 in widescreen for the 3D collection, so that's not really an apt comparison. But what is interesting is we got... I mean, if we're talking about GameCube games, there was a period of time in, like, 2024 when we learned about... Or no, that was, I guess, 23. We learned about the Thousand Year Door remake. We had just gotten Metroid Prime remastered, and we had gotten the ports of Pikmin 1 and 2. And I was of the belief, like, oh, we're not going to get GameCube NSO games. We're just going to have them... They believe them to be more on par with recent games as opposed to anything beneath that, which is more retro, because the quality of games have plateaued. Not that they're bad, but just, like, from a graphical standpoint, that... they would much rather remake them or up-res them and sell them to us. That it's interesting that they only did it with Metroid Prime 1, and now they're just, I guess, giving Metroid Prime 2 echoes for Nintendo Switch Online.
And I think what's weird about this is just, like, people are saying that this also deconfirms, like, a Metroid Prime 2 remaster, which I don't think it really does. That being said, I don't really see it coming. Apparently, Metroid Prime Remastered cost a lot, and it did not make its money back, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine they're, like, super, like...
Because they committed the
stoked.
cardinal sin of making it a good deal and releasing it day of.
I know. But honestly, like, the graphics for Metroid Prime games hold up relatively well. So it's not, like, a big deal. It's not, like, the biggest deal. Plus, like, I mean... the quality of life for Metroid Prime Remastered is, like, I think they added more save stations, which, I mean, NSO has save states, so it's not like...
Yeah.
You know, it is what it is. And I'll play it again until I get to the Spider Guardian, and then I'll cry and quit.
Mm-hmm. That's my older brother to play
that's
for
the kind
me.
of person I am.
Twitch chat says
Yeah.
Super Paper Mario Copium. I don't think it's impossible that we could get Wii games for Nintendo Switch Online. Like we're getting diminishing returns, where
Yeah,
we are getting
I
less
think
and less N64 games and GameCube games. But it seems like every September they want to be like, oh look, this, because that's when like the subscriptions, because it launched in September, so most people renew their subscriptions around then. That they want to be, because I think the last 3 September directs, except for, sorry, this last year, which didn't have one. The last couple have been like, oh, we're adding Game Boy Advance, we're adding N64, we're adding Game Boy, Super Nintendo. Those have been like the September direct thing. But I don't think it'll go beyond that, because obviously most of the Wii U games have been ported to the Switch anyway. I like the idea of the Switch being like the perfect Nintendo console that can play all of them. And I hope by... But I don't know. What were you going to say, Switchy? Okay, so where
Can you guys
I'm...
hear me?
Yeah. Okay, so where
Can you guys
I'm...
hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, right, sorry.
I can now.
Hello?
You're good.
Okay, that was weird.
Now we can't hear you.
I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear
Hello?
Dan. Hi, Dan.
Hi, I can. Okay, wait.
I don't know what's going on.
Yes, I hear.
I'm just
Okay,
gonna tank through it.
confused.
What is interesting, at least for me, when it came to like talking about these Wii U ports, or this being like the perfect Nintendo console, is it seems like a lot of the criticisms, or I guess issues with the Switch 2 from a launch standpoint, is that it is built on the infrastructure of the Switch 1, so it didn't have that like hit the ground running immediate, we need to win back this player base, we need to have all these games available, because for the most part they've been relying on Switch 2 editions with like 5 exclusives maybe that you can play on the Switch 1 anyway, like the major games other than Air Riders and Mario Kart and Donkey Kong, like Pokemon and Metroid, you could play on the Switch 1, but there are Switch 2 editions. And I think that's a valid criticism, or at least like a way to understand and contextualize the previous year. However, if they did like start from scratch on a new console, and then thus start from scratch with like NES games and Super Nintendo games, I would have hated that. I'm so glad that they built on the already existing online infrastructure, although, you know, there's some problems with certain online games. But I understand the excitement of like a new Nintendo console. Like, oh, it's new, it's different. For better or for worse, they always have really weird gimmicks. But I think, although it is a boring one, I guess, the Switch 2, a more powerful Nintendo Switch, was the right decision.
Yeah, same. I don't know. You know, it's funny. I remember a lot of people look really fondly back on the Wii.
Yes.
And you know, but I remember when it first came out, a lot of people, at least a lot of like gaming fans I knew, really didn't like the motion controls that much. Like if you rewatch like old JonTron videos, a lot of old kind of like, you know, just people who talked about games, you know, like the late 2000s, early 2010s, I feel like there was often like a sort of appetite for the criticism of just let me use a normal controller.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we were talking earlier today about just the Donkey Kong Country Returns.
Yes.
And that was like that. I think that's like a classic case of just them forcing you to wiggle your stick a little bit for basically no reason. Like it's a thing that could easily be a button, and I think that I don't know. I think a lot of people at that point in time didn't exactly like a lot of the changes. And I think Nintendo responded to that, all things considered. And nowadays, I think, I don't know, like staking your whole kind of brand and company, like the new kind of technology you're doing off of, you know, like a change in the normal, like in, I guess, a shift in how video game controllers work, I think is just not something that video game companies want to do anymore. You know?
Yeah, and
like,
the gimmicks were sort of a necessity. They're like the Wii wasn't that more powerful than a GameCube, so the gimmick sold it on its own, and the same goes for the Wii U. Although the appeal of the Wii U from like I guess a gamer's perspective is that like, oh, we have HD games now, like we can make fully HD games, but it wasn't sold as that. It wasn't the HD Wii or the Wii HD. It was the Wii U with the Wii U gamepad. So because Nintendo, for whatever reason, wasn't able to compete from a hardware standpoint, they sort of had to rely on gimmicks. But say what you will about the Nintendo Switch or certain games not being able to run on the Switch 2 or not, but from a handheld market perspective, they are leading in a hardware circle.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah, I can kind of see that. It helps that like there hasn't been a shortage.
Oh yeah, I'm interested to see the next year because that is supposed. I mean, nobody said anything other than people being like, "Oh, it's time that the consoles that aren't Nintendo release every 7 years." That if there even will be a PS6, I don't think there's going to be a new Xbox, but if there's going to be a 10th generation console in 2027, especially with tariffs and chip shortages and everything. And also just, although it's been 7 years, it feels like the Series X and the PS5 are just getting started. Not that, like, we're going to get massive things for it, but, like, it doesn't... I like Astrobot, but I don't think... You know, people make those nostalgia edits, and they're like, oh, remember the Xbox 360? And it's, like, playing some song from 2011, and it's flashing all these games on screen. Like, what would you even show for the Series X or for the PlayStation 5?
I feel like that's been a problem for a long time.
Yeah.
You know?
But on top of Nintendo Switch Online, we've gotten this trailer that came out, today. Is it today? Yeah, it is today. Getting the launch lineup for the Virtual Boy. Have you guys locked in your Virtual Boy pre-orders yet? Excited for the Virtual Boy?
I hope this is a bigger failure than the real Virtual Boy.
That would be funny. I mean,
here's the thing that pisses me off so much.
Sure.
You already have to pay $50 a year for this service, and now you can't even play the game without another, at the very least, $25 peripheral, and that's like the bad version.
Yeah.
You gotta pay like $100, like, for basically what's essentially like 12 games.
Mm-hmm. It's nostalgia itself.
Yeah, no, I feel like this
blazing. It's like, it's such a big deal because these unreleased games are coming out, and I'm just thinking, did we forget the fact that like this is, they're kind of like scamming us? Like, like we're being scammed. Are we forgetting that fact?
Like, we're looking at the footage right here of it just being played standard, right? If it was like, oh, you can play the games emulated, or you can do the VR mode by getting the Virtual Boy. No, you just can't play them without the peripheral. And also, as far as complaints go for the Virtual Boy, right, if there are any complaints with, like, the N64, with the controller and the saving of it all, and peripherals, other stuff for the GameCube, the criticism of the Virtual Boy is threefold, right? A lack of games, which this doesn't change for the most part. It being sold as a mobile console, and now it is. Now it's on the Switch 2. Now you can take it anywhere. But...
Except not really.
Right. The third complaint, the major complaint, is that it strained people's eyes. And this doesn't seem to change anything about that. Like,
No, it does, but you're going to have to wait.
You know what it is, black and red, black and red, black and red.
What do you mean we have to wait? What's happening?
Do you know? Okay, so they announced that there are other color options.
Oh, great.
You don't have to play black and red, but that won't be out at launch.
What if the red,
Dude,
like,
hard is
the red was mandatory, but you could change...
processing effect.
What if the red's mandatory, but you could change the background to green or blue?
You shift like 200, like that's all you have to do.
Yeah,
like,
what, somebody's capturing this footage right now. We can play it in handheld. Like, why can't we just play it like that?
Yeah, who's not, like, how is this not capturing the... Like, I can see what's happening pretty clearly. This is not a depth perception issue.
Yeah.
Like, I can see the depth pretty easily.
Also, this is fucking crazy. I was under the impression that they were all launching at the same time. These 7 games will be released through 2026.
That's dumb.
But I forgot there was a Shin Megami Tensei Virtual Boy game.
They're all over the place.
Apparently, that's one of the good ones, too. So, I guess we'll see.
Previously unreleased games coming later this year. Like Zero Racers.
This is F-Zero, by the way.
It sure looks like it. Looks like an R-Wing.
I
thing.
heard
These
this
two
game's
games will
pretty
be
good,
released
too, from
later in
what I've been hearing.
2026. I just don't. Nothing has changed, mind you. This has been my opinion since it was announced in the Direct. And luckily for me, I can't stream it. So that gives me an excuse not to get it. Unless
Never
I just
say never.
Unless I just film my... Well, if they add it so that you could just capture it and play it on the Switch, then it's not really that big of an issue, because I already have Switch
clearly you
Online.
can.
Yeah, we saw it. We just saw the footage right there. What we're doing here is... it's interesting that they announce all this stuff this week. Like I said, we're gearing up for a 2-week hiatus, but we also got, I believe this happened, this was January 22nd, additional footage for the Super Mario Wonder Nintendo Switch 2 edition. And we saw a different trailer not long ago. I don't think did I watch this? Yeah, this is game share, but now we got to read the fine print. Nintendo Switch 2 system must initiate game share sessions. Users will receive, whenever I see this, the local multiplayer. And we never hear anything more about the online when it comes to game share. So for the most part, I feel like I'm misremembering. This did happen after last week's podcast, right? Because I remember watching it, but I think I watched it right after. Yeah. Well, yeah, last episode was the 20th, so this was the 22nd. Yeah. But it seems like, although we're getting additional stuff in the game, that it does, because I know, Dan, you said something about it, that you wanted more single-player content for this game.
Well, from what I can tell, actually, there's like missions now for each of the levels. Or a good amount of levels. So, and it's not like just a few. I think there's like maybe over 100 from what people are saying. And like, I mean, I'm good, but that's worth $20. I mean, honestly, I'm down to pay $20.
Well, this is gonna happen every time. You guys gotta do it like a bingo card or a drinking game whenever I bring up Smash Bros. But oh yeah, these are the missions that I totally forgot what I was about to say. Oh, yeah. That people say, like, oh, and we can get an Ultimate Switch 2 edition, and it could add this many characters and this many stages. When, for the most part, as far as, like, Switch 2 editions go, they have not added anything, like, that substantial. Like, maybe the Forgotten Land, because it adds additional levels and an additional mode. But this one... Because they've all uniformly been $20, right? Or maybe the Zelda ones have been cheaper.
I think. Well, like.
Animal Crossing was $5.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
Animal Crossing.
Yeah, no. Honestly, the prices varied quite a bit.
Right. Well, they did say that would happen. They said it would vary. I just didn't believe them. That this one seems the most like if the term Switch 2 edition wasn't a thing, this seems the most like, oh, this is a DLC pack. Like, this is $20 additional DLC. And obviously I haven't played it, so I can't tell you if it's worth it, but to me this seems like the best deal as far as Switch 2 editions go right now.
Oh, for sure. I think they're like making it clear that like there's plenty of content here that's worth the $20. I mean, you're getting a new player, or a new character, and a new side character, whatever the hell Luma's supposed to be.
Co-star Luma. New baby mode for the baby game.
Stuff. And honestly, like I just think they're making a good job of like making it clear like this is a much better job of selling me compared to what they showed for the Mario like 35th anniversary.
Yeah.
I think this is doing a much better job.
That entire situation was weird because the anniversary was last year. We still get, when there's games like Tennis, which are coming out February in a handful of weeks this year, they still have, whenever we get the trailer, the little Mario 40th thing ahead of it, that looking back, aside from trailers, right, like actual releases for the anniversary, this is the assist mode I was referring to. I forgot how beautiful this game is. I can't wait to go back to it.
It's so good.
I feel like I don't remember it looking like this when I played it, so maybe I do need to play the Switch 2 edition. That, aside from trailers for things we're getting in 2026, the biggest Mario release for 25 was Mario Kart. So it's sort of weird that that wasn't like the anniversary game, in retrospect.
You're right. That is kind of weird, especially since like they did such a big job of remixing tracks from not only Mario Kart but like from the Mario series in general.
Yeah.
And like that's weird that they didn't like mention that.
Because they celebrated the anniversary after the new power up. This is new, right? I haven't played the game in a while.
What
Yes, that's a
power
new
up?
one.
What was it?
You turn into
The
a little flower
flower
guy.
one.
And this is available
yeah.
March 26th. I think they show it to us, maybe?
I think people are also.
Maybe
I think
not.
this is like the turning point for people where it's like, okay, I think we're done with these ridiculous names and also these covers. They gotta do something about the covers.
Oh, for
The thing
that it's split
Drives me
between two
crazy
things, yeah.
Is like they could easily do a reversible cover. Just get rid of the bottom text, and it would be so much easier, so much better.
Yeah, because, like, this is super deep fried. I don't know why it looks like this, or embossed. Because, like, the Bowser's
It's still
Fury
not
one
great,
looks
but it's
good.
so much better.
Yeah. Just tilting it a little bit. On top
Not
of
even just tilting it. Like, why is there so much text? Why is there so much text? It doesn't need that
Right, this
much
is
text.
the Super Mario 3D World Nintendo Switch Edition plus Bowser's Fury. You don't need the edition part. Or, I think there were certain games that if they sold really well, they had a little tag or sticker in the top right that said, like, oh, Platinum Picks, bestsellers or whatever, Nintendo Original. Just make the Switch 2 edition thing like a sticker that goes up here.
But do they even need it? Because that is a giant logo right
Oh, yeah,
there
you're
on
right.
the
It
top.
does say Switch 2 here.
Like, do
yeah.
they need even to have Switch 2 edition? And what's even crazier is the Switch 2 cartridge will still work on a Switch 1. So why even bother at that point?
Ooh, yeah.
Like, why are we doing this? Why are you making this so much more difficult than it needs to be?
Twitch chat says, I know there are some cases about anniversary games, but I don't think Nintendo really cares about anniversaries as much as Nintendo fans think they do. Well, I mean, for Mario's last anniversary 5 years ago, they released the All-Star Collection, and they've done something for Pokemon. I mean, they're already doing things for Pokemon's anniversary. They have was it 30th logo? This is also Zelda's 40th anniversary. There was a Sonic Direct for their 40th. We
also got Bowser's Fury for the 35th.
That's true. Yeah, that one was pushed off a little bit, but you could tell it was pandemic times.
Well, that was part of the direct. That
Right,
was part
yes.
of the direct of All-Stars, Mario 35. I think maybe like they talked about the movie or like the amusement park, and then
this year is the anniversary of
talked about
Zelda, Sonic, Pokemon, Dragon Ball. Hoping big things this year. But no, like they
Dragon Ball
always
just
make
had,
a
like,
big
big
deal
thing.
about the anniversary. Even like Kirby, which in comparison is not that big of a series, had an anniversary game on the Wii. But now we have this release date. Nintendo picks and chooses what anniversary they choose to go big with. Yeah, but I would assume Mario and Zelda. We're assuming something. We haven't heard anything from Zelda for a while. But now we have the release date for this, which is March 26th, which is also the release of these fabulous 3 amiibo.
Is anyone going to buy the flower guy?
I'm buying 100 copies of Elephant Mario. I'm just letting you know right now. These are for me and for me alone.
Is there an Elephant Daisy? I know who's buying that.
Yeah, really.
Yeah,
I mean,
hold on. I have a
come
good
on.
friend. Is there an Elephant
Zach,
Rosalina?
Even
friend of the
know
show.
consumers? What are we doing here?
See, this is another thing that, it's not his anniversary anymore. He's 41, all right? He's washed. Get over it. The talking flower toy. I don't think there is any connectivity
Oh
with
my god,
the game.
the talking flower toy is like primo stupid shit. Like
It's smaller than I thought it would be.
kind of
Yeah, or
love
this
it.
hand is just
I love
massive,
it.
but
It just
I'm a
tells you the
little
wrong
annoyed that it
time.
Doesn't that it
press and
doesn't
hold to
move.
stop
Like-
talking.
Like, how come it doesn't move?
Well, it does when you're not looking.
Like,
When
it
you're
should be
asleep,
like one of
it'll
those,
move.
like solar panel things, right?
It tells you to fall
know,
asleep so it can
just-
move around when you're asleep. Oh, pretty chilly today, huh? And then it dies.
It's also like it's got it's a good price point. $35 is not terrible.
I think it is.
You think so?
I like the passive language too. Like, not that it will play music. Sometimes music will play. We can't
But I think
explain
it
where it comes
randomly-
from.
I think it's
It just
pretty
like
clear
it just
that they know at this point
Yeah.
that it's like
Battery's not included. But on top of that, now we have this of March 12th, and I think we went over these games. Oh, we'll get to that in a second. And now we have the Tomadachi Life Living the Dream Direct announced for this Thursday. Is it in the morning? I'm probably just going to watch it whenever I stream on Thursday. That any predictions that I had, now we could find out if there is in fact a Tomodachi gay relationship. That it seemed like last year that it was maybe just a short-term solution, that instead of having these major Nintendo Directs that we had anyway, that all of the big games had their own individual Directs. And that's not a thing that's new to the Switch 2 or new to 2025 and thus 2026. They've been doing it for even games like Pikmin. But that requires a little bit of an explanation.
They've done that since the Wii U era.
Yeah, that Donkey Kong got a Direct, Mario Kart got a Direct, Kirby Air Riders got 2 Directs. There wasn't a Metroid Direct. There are obviously Pokemon presentations that... I think this is going to be a big game, both in like size and popularity, but the fact that it's getting its own Direct... I mean, it is the next major Nintendo release from them. So now we have, on top of all that, if we can jump back to something we did create last week. Huh?
Isn't Mario Tennis coming out first?
No, that's February.
Yeah, but Tomodachi.
Yeah, Mario Tennis is coming out first.
March.
Yeah. Well, we don't have a release date for Tomodachi Life. I'm saying
was the next.
No, I'm sorry. The Direct is the next thing.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Right,
gotcha.
because we don't actually have a release date for Tomodachi Life, but we can hope we get one, because now our 2026 guide has gotten a little bit smoother, that we have Tomodachi Life Living the Dream Direct, Thursday, January 29th, couple week gap, a 1 week gap, and then Mario Tennis Fever, released Thursday, February 12th. We have the Virtual Boy Peripheral, I think this is a Tuesday, February 17th. It's in the Dixie Kong slot. And then, first Thursday of March, March 5th, Pokemon Pokopia, and the release of... I think this is a Thursday. Wait, 5, 6, 7... 6, 7... Yeah, this Thursday, Talking Flower, March 12th. And then we jump into spring with the release of the Super Mario Wonder Nintendo Switch 2 Edition plus Baby Bell Park, or whatever it's called, March 26th in spring. Meaning that for the first half, splitting into quarters, for this year, we have the release dates for the things we know to come out in winter and spring, except for Tomodachi Life and Yoshi. I imagine we'll probably get a release date in the Tomodachi Life Direct. And I think we gave predictions last time, but maybe April, right? Because this will be the end of March, and I don't think they want to compete with it. However, they've released Switch 2 editions more or less the same week or a week removed from, like, fully Switch 2 games. Although Tomodachi Life is going to be a Switch 1 game, so maybe that will have a Switch 2 edition that also releases. What do you guys think? Do you think it's before or after?
Last week, it's like, there's no way they're not doing a Switch 2 edition at this point for Tomodachi Life. Like, there has to be, at the very least, there has to be, like, improvements on Switch 2, specifically for Switch 2 version compared to the Switch 1 version. Because you don't announce a game, like, over a year in advance. It doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
But, I think first week of April, maybe, if they're dumb, I could see them doing March 26th. As well.
Oh, a little friendly competition.
Them being stupid.
Yeah.
Or maybe the week between Flower and Mario. Possibly.
Well, I do have up here individual gaps. I don't think... Well, we'll see. We have the Thursdays not accounted for moving forward. February 26th. February 19th. February 5th. And March 19th. Leading up into March 26th. So we have 4 Thursdays. Not to say that everything needs to happen on a Thursday or that every Thursday needs to have an announcement or a release, but it could be something small. Something as small as the Virtual Boy or the Talking Flower. But we don't have any additional peripherals announced. This was announced in the Mario Anniversary, and this was announced, I think, in the Switch 2 Direct, or maybe the September Direct, right?
That was announced in September, because that's when they did.
Mm-hmm. And down here,
I mean, honestly, those Thursdays could just be NSO stuff, like more GameCube, more N64, maybe
like Twilight
Genesis
Princess
will get another update. Who knows?
Yeah, they're gonna remove half the Genesis games.
I was gonna say, honestly, I would not be surprised if they were like, by the way, we're canceling support.
Yeah, we got to start
Genesis
delisting some of these. The copyright ran out. that we know these games to come out in spring. I'm certain we're going to get a Tomodachi Life release date. Duskbloods was announced.
That'd be ridiculous if we didn't.
Yeah. Duskbloods was announced in the first Switch 2 Direct. Rhythm Heaven was announced in the Switch 1 Direct that was a couple days prior. Fire Emblem was a little later in the September Direct. Pokemon Champions was announced in a Pokemon Presents, I think at the beginning of the year in February. And then Splatoon Raiders was announced on the Nintendo Today app, and we haven't heard anything about it since. There are very few dates when it comes to directs or announcements that we have for certain, that we know to be true, that it is every time. Pokemon Day is always February 27th, and that is a Friday in February, and normally they do presentations on Thursday as well, so maybe it'll be like the 26th before. And I'll say historically, not last year, but historically, there has been a Nintendo Direct in February. Not to coincide with the Pokemon Presents, but often just like around the time. I'm of two minds about this. One, obviously we didn't get a February Direct last year. However, early last year was very strange. Like, we just got a Nintendo Switch 2 short presentation that wasn't even really a presentation. It was just like showing off a 3D model of the console. And it felt like a here damn situation because they knew it was going to leak. And then we got separate Switch 1 and Switch 2 Directs. And then not a lot more beyond a Mario Kart Direct. And then the console came out. So I hope that 2026 is more business as usual. And also, you know, once we have all these games through spring, assuming that we know Yoshi and Tomodachi are in spring, assuming that they're earlier spring, and we haven't heard a lot more about these games, that we don't really know the Nintendo lineup for the rest of the year. Not to say that we could get individual directs for these games, and maybe it could lead us all the way into June, and we get a traditional summer direct, or maybe none of that applies and we get another April one. Maybe April is the month they do them now. But I do think that we're not soon. I mean, hopefully not soon. You know, I'm going to be gone the next 2 weeks. I don't want to react to a direct on my phone when I'm in like a hotel or something. I think we're due for a Pokemon Presents and a Nintendo Direct relatively soon.
Well, my lock is if the Pokemon thing is the 27th, I could see them doing Coliseum on the 26th, or maybe they just do double. Or maybe they'll just go like, fuck it. We know you like Gale of Darkness better. That's the better game. We're not going to argue with you. So here's Gale of Darkness, but we're not going to give you Coliseum yet.
Yeah.
You
got to wait for that one a little bit.
Or it's like, actually, you know what? Fuck you. Here's Pokemon TV.
Other than, yeah. Oh, and then there's a little Jirachi disc. That'd be awesome. You could just put it in your Pokemon home. Well, you could already just
with a good time.
You could already just get Jirachi in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl by buying another game. It's not as bad of a mythical anymore. That 3 of these dates up here, 3 of the 4 are February. Other than the launch of the console, we haven't had, like, as far as a GameCube game on NSO, we haven't had more than one a month. Right? Like, it's always been at least one a month.
No, it's only been one a month. It hasn't been more than one a month, which I think is fair. Like, GameCube games, well, I was going to say they're, like, girthier, but, like, Luigi's Mansion's not a very girthy
They're
game.
famously
Neither
small.
Is Mario World. But, you know, we're going to get those girthier games. Like, Wind Waker's
It's
girthy.
average size. The GameCube discs are average size.
Yeah, actually, if you ask me, I think they're too big. In comparison to the Switch? You got to fit all that disc on that cart? But this is what we know. As of right now, January 27th, 2 days before this Tomodachi Life Direct. What's interesting, though, is we actually did get another Direct recently, if you even want to call it that, which is I keep looking at this goddamn talking flower. Well, first of all, we got the Super Mario Galaxy movie Direct, which was just this trailer, and then Miyamoto going like, whoa, did you see that trailer? That's crazy. They like calling them directs. That's
so cute.
Beforehand, this old Japanese man, he's adorable, he's adorkable. That before that happened, we got this, or maybe after, the Old Spice Super Mario Galaxy collection. And I don't remember exactly. I remember this image. Luigi standing next to is it Cascarafa? I'm gonna assume that's
Toast
correct.
Arena.
Yeah, Toast Arena. Yeah. That, and this render of Mario, because it was around the time we were getting like fake AI leaks that it could have been any of these. But Dan brought this up when we were talking about this before, that the thing that Old Spice leaked was Yoshi, and we don't see Yoshi on here. We do see Bowser Jr.'s new design, or his Wonder design.
I mean, there's one thing that's like kind of hidden off. Maybe that's what it is, but
they didn't want to ruin Yoshi.
I don't think that's it.
Yeah, also
that might
like
just be more Luigi. I don't know.
I'm misremembering a little bit. I haven't seen the movie in a while. Does their Toad companion dress this much like Captain Toad in the first movie?
I don't think so.
Think so. No.
Oh, I can't zoom in any farther.
Also, I'm pretty sure I guessed that Yoshi wasn't gonna talk.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Where are my props?
Is it on your prediction chart?
Right.
I mean, does he?
No, I didn't. I think I just said that on the show once, that I didn't think that Yoshi was gonna talk.
They're very not malicious, meticulous about the actual movie footage. So I'm gonna put this on like half speed. You saw this already.
I was excited to see the Tosterians in the trailer, along with the big pyramid.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's cool that they were able to adapt it pretty well, honestly.
Yeah, like, well, it looks 1-to-1. Like, really, that's not like
1-to-1. Well,
yeah.
I mean, the pyramid's not that close, but I mean, other than that, like,
yeah,
pretty good. People on the streets are saying that it's D. Bradley Baker, and I kind of hear it, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was the other guy, Fred Chior, whatever his name is, the one who also does the animal noises. It could be either one of them. Maybe Frank Welker.
I was gonna say, let's get Frank in there. Yeah.
It's either D. Bradley Baker or Frank.
I know it's not, Frank. But there's a bit later where Yoshi makes like a little noise and he goes, and it when he says me or whatever, it sounds a lot like the Super Show cartoon, like a lot like it.
It does.
And I wonder if like the voice actor was like taking that into account. Oh, we get the frog suit. When
frog. Oh, I have a question for you guys. How likely do you think it is they're gonna make a Mama Luigi joke in this movie?
Do you think they're gonna like make a joke, or do you think they're gonna mention it? They can.
Well, what do you mean mention it?
Well, some sort of allusion.
Yeah, I
to
think
the
it'll be
Luigi, Super Mario
it could
Bros.
be
Super
like a
Show.
throwaway bit where I don't think they'll do it
like
exactly where Mario will be like, "Mama." That would be fun.
No. Like maybe when they first meet Yoshi, there's like some sort of mom joke implied.
And he says, "My mom."
Because I'm like thinking, you know, honestly, the Mario movie impressed me with like the deep cuts, and I assume they're gonna do the same with this one. So I'm thinking, like, what are the chances that there's someone involved with making this movie that knows ball like that?
Yeah,
you know what I mean,
because like all of the video game movies have sort of had a thing like that, where it's like it's a nod. In the Sonic movies, they had Sonic as one of the posters in the FNAF 2 movie when he's putting the mask on. He's like, no way that works. But I think Nintendo's a little bit more protective.
Didn't they also do Hork 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 in the FNAF 2 movie?
I don't know. All I remember when seeing it is there was a kid like to a row to the right of us who was doing that every 5 minutes. Yeah, they do have Matt Pat in there too. That's true. That's not even a FNAF bit, but they have it in there. I'm just interested to see. I'm excited about this this Mario Casino. We don't often see the Mario Casino. It's like they're hiding it from us. What if they don't do Mama Luigi reference, but instead they have Luigi go gambling at the poker table?
Hello,
that'd be kind of chill.
What about that?
No, they're probably they don't fuck with they don't fuck with like poker references in kids shows or kids media.
Well, that's why I'm interested to learn more about this casino.
Are you kidding me? There was the whole thing with SpongeBob in like the lost city of Atlantic.
When was that?
The whole gambling thing with that.
Was that the Netflix movie?
On the Run.
Yeah.
Yeah, Paramount Plus.
Yeah. Oh, my mistake. Yeah, that was like the Paramount launch, right? That was like the big thing or one of them.
I mean, I don't think that they're against it as long as you're not like actually showing like losing money like in real life. Like if you're alluding to it and don't actually say, oh, this is gambling.
Well, my thing is that like, wouldn't you rather that like if you're anti-gambling, which you should be, that if you are a censor, wouldn't you rather want to show them losing? Because then it's like that was the thing with the first season of Smiling Friends, that Standards and Practices said that that Satan couldn't vape because they were like anti-vape people. It's like, well, and then I think Zach Hadel was on a podcast and he was trying to explain like, he's the devil.
He's a negative role model.
Right.
Yeah.
He's telling us.
We have presumably adult Burdetta here. I'm interested to see if they'll like interact at all because those two I don't think they've been in like a mainline game at the same time, but they've sort of been grandfathered into the spin-off games as a duo, not necessarily as a couple, but like a tennis duo, a double dash duo.
Yeah, no, you're right.
They have a lot of association, but it's interesting that like we know that Yoshi hatches and he's like a baby here, but then we see this scene at the end of the trailer, the T-Rex from Odyssey. I'm glad to see all of these Odyssey references as well, because I was worried it was just going to be Galaxy. I like the way they do these movies. That this scene features baby Luigi and baby Mario, but it also features a Toad.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
So at first I was like, oh, this is like a flashback to when Yoshi was like watching after them, but this is in the Mushroom Kingdom, which they didn't know yet. So I guess there's a baby Ray that's going to turn them into babies, or this is Mario and Peach's children.
Yeah, I assume it's going to be a baby Ray, actually, now that you say that.
The hatch genetic.
What the hell is Yoshi holding? What is that? Is that a baby Ray?
I think yeah, his classic baby. I think every animated movie should have a baby Ray, quite honestly. I've always said this. But yeah, we got not additional information per se, but we did get stuff on the Nintendo Today app, like this little bit of Yoshi. How do you guys feel about this Yoshi design, by the way?
I think it's fine. I don't know. I mean, there are like people who are much more passionate about Yoshi designs than I am.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even kidding when I say that.
No, I believe you. I know that people feel very strongly about Yoshi, of course. That the movie designs are already quite different from the game designs anyway. Like, going back to here and seeing this classic Mario render, this classic Mario pose. Like, he's doing exactly the pose from Galaxy, but it still looks off. Not bad, but off because it's this version of Mario.
Yeah, it's a slightly different design.
Mm-hmm. That what I was more interested in, I don't care about Captain Toad, I don't care about Rosalina, I don't care about Yoshi, Bowser Jr., whatever, that we see Yoshi here swallow an Octo guy from Super Mario Galaxy. It's been a while. I've been waiting for the moment that the Octo guy appears in the movie. He's a member of the Octo Army, and he's a variant of the Octoomba. And that's it. I'm happy to see him.
Well, I don't know if you saw in the trailer, but Mouser was there.
Mouser?
Yeah, Mouser's in the trailer. Mouser, yeah, if you go to the Birdo scene.
Burdetta. Let me see. Where is she? Why did I lose this already? Marty Mouser? Let me get a look.
Yeah, no, like go frame by frame.
I'm going frame by frame.
You get to go back. Or forward, I guess? I don't know.
Is this like
It's by Peach.
Is this like a fucking Cody and Total Drama Action situation? I see a Spike back there. Nice little Spike image. Crab.
Oh, and there he is, Mouser.
Oh! Yeah, how did I not notice it? Holy shit, that's crazy.
And there's also the other boss from Mario 2, the crab boss right there.
Oh yeah. Back. No Wart of yet.
Bro, is Wart? Are we getting Wart? Dude.
Oh,
I always thought that, like, even within the games, because obviously, like, in the games, I wanted there to be more crossover. Like, I remember flipping my shit when Samus was in that one Kirby game. You can get the star. That, I liked the idea of Wart being sort of like a Freddy Krueger-esque character, because he's in the two games that are Dreams. Spoilers, but he's in, although it's under a different name, in Link's Awakening and Mario 2. And I was like, oh, he could definitely show up in, like, Kirby. That's, like, entirely Dreamland. Anytime there's a dream, he could be that dream character. And I've always wanted that. Twitch chat saying something about, like, oh, I wonder why it's called the Galaxy movie. I think a lot of the video game movies do this, that especially, or I guess also Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and even Sonic the Hedgehog 3, that they take a lot of plot points from a bunch of different places. Like, very outwardly, Sonic 3 is based on Sonic Adventure 2, but it takes a lot from a lot of other places as well. And the Super Mario Bros. Movie is, or was, just an amalgamation of everything Mario, because at the time, we're just like, oh yeah, this is the one Mario movie, so just bring everything in. So the sequel being Galaxy. Also, like, if you don't if you don't know the video games, it's sort of a strange title. Like traditional sequels, if it's like, oh, the Super Mario Brothers movie or the Super Mario movie, and then the Super Mario Galaxy movie. It's weird that movie is still after the supposed sequel subtitle. And it sort of also feels like they're two different disconnected movies. Like they're just different adaptations of different games. But no, this is an amalgamation. I would say that the first Mario is... It honestly takes a little bit after like the previous movie and the animated series itself. But for the most part, it was Mario Kart... I guess just Mario the first, because there's no Koopalings and there's no Bowser Jr., and a little bit of Odyssey, I guess. They're like Globetrot. It's sort of its own thing. That this is a double sequel because it takes...
there's new Super Mario Bros. In there.
True.
The Mini Mushroom.
Mm-hmm. A little bit of Mario Maker, too. They make that that course for them. Oh, yeah, and they got Cat Mario as well. That's like a big thing. We haven't seen any Donkey Kong in any of these trailers.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, do you think Seth Rogen Donkey Kong is going to be in this movie, or do you think they're working on that supposed spin-off and wants him to be his own thing?
I think they're
Good
like,
question.
we gotta Lego Batman this shit. We gotta not have him be as prominent in this movie.
Right, he moved away. He went to a different school or something. Well,
I heard he went bananas.
The movie starts at his funeral.
he died off screen. This is where they meet Minecraft Steve. They're gearing up for the Smash Bros. Movie. Those are all of the announcements, leaks, anything of interest that has happened the past week in between episodes of Switch to Ultra. And that's why we have this set up here. We now have, I guess most of the work was done off screen. We now have a solid schedule. And the next thing, although, did I say the day I'll be back? We're going to miss 2 weeks. So I will be back... 310, I guess the 17th, so we're missing February 3rd and February 10th. So in between that time, assuming that nothing happens on the 3rd, when we come back, we will be able to discuss at length the Tomadachi Life Living the Dream Direct and whatever we've played of Mario Tennis Fever. But because this is the last installment of Switch to Ultra before either of those happen, do you guys have any locks for either of those? I know one of Dan's predictions early on was that Mario Tennis Fever will be good but not great. Do you think we're going to learn anything more about Mario Tennis Fever before it comes out, or do you think everything we know is pretty much a lock until the game comes out?
I would say
My
we
guess
probably get a
is
little
they're
bit more
gonna-
information on the story mode.
Okay.
Maybe. I mean, if we get a direct before that, I could see them devoting like a minute or two to it. Like they've done that in the past before. But I could also see them doing like another like online trailer that isn't like showing anything new, but at the same time there's something in there that isn't like mentioned that is then speculated by everybody. Remember
Right.
how like when all the Mario Kart World stuff came out, it's like, is that Dolphin? Is that Cataquack? You play as Cataquack? What is happening? Like,
I don't know.
something like that, basically.
I think the fact that, like, in the first trailer, or not in the first trailer, but in the most recent trailer, they made a note to be like 38 characters. Outside of like free updates after release, I don't think there's any secret characters.
No, I don't think there's characters. More along the lines of like maybe like a reference or something, or
Okay.
like a court we haven't seen, or a game mode we haven't seen. You know, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know. We'll see if the annoying gimmick is a part of it, of the game. We'll see
Yeah.
by the 17th, I guess.
The thing about tennis is it's hard to fuck up, but also it's just tennis. So I'd rather you fuck it up than not do anything at all to make it not just tennis.
Yeah.
They should add a ping pong mode.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like the main appeal, like Tennis Aces was, because I'm sure you guys remember when Tennis Aces came out, just in comparison to the Wii U version. I think it was that it was the first one developed by Camelot since the GameCube. And the thing that people always brought up in these Camelot Mario sports games, which were Mario Golf and Mario Tennis, is that I think the Game Boy versions of the N64 games had like RPG modes, like you could level up your character. That was always like the charming Nintendo thing that people would bring up in videos, like, oh, they made tennis into an RPG. I think there's some indie game that runs with that same idea. I haven't heard anything more about it.
Golf Story.
Yeah. That
Good game.
that is Camelot's signature, because obviously Camelot, other than the Mario sports game, I think just Golden Sun. Maybe some other series, but that's the one I know of. I'm locking in. I think Isaac's in the game. That's my lock.
I don't know. I think what we saw is probably what we're gonna get.
Yeah.
And that is, they also did Shining Force 3, I guess. But other than that, like, there's not much else. It
seems like they've been not. I don't want to say jail, but they've been put in the Mario Sports Gulag. Honestly, just give them Strikers. I don't see why Strikers is developed by a separate team, the Luigi's Mansion team, when they should just be working on other non-sports games.
Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah. Yeah, that or anything. And not that we need constant Luigi's Mansion. I don't want to, like, crack my whip and say, get back to Luigi's Mansion. But I think each sport being like a different sub-company is kind of fun. Obviously, Camelot has golf and tennis. And whenever we get anything Mario basketball, Square Enix is always involved somehow. I think that'd be fun, a new Mario basketball with Square Enix involved. The first game we can get Geno playable in.
Well, I mean, they're on better terms now than they were back in the day. So, I mean, anything's possible.
Mm-hmm. And I think, I'm not sure. Was Mario Sluggers also, I don't know if it was Camelot. It wouldn't have been anyway if it was on.
I don't think it was, no.
Yeah. Who made Mario? Air Riders and Smash Bros. They should be working on the next Sluggers game. I don't think that's impossible. What I would like to do down the line if we have like a bum week is sort of just go through every individual Nintendo series and see which ones are and aren't repped on the Switch and Switch 2. But there's like little asterisks there. Like technically there's an F-Zero game on the Switch, kind of, with F-Zero 99. I would still count that a new title.
Yeah, but
so
like,
like NSO, right?
Yeah, like a new release.
Okay.
But
Now, here's a question. Would, like something like WarioWare, does that count for Wario, or would that count
That's
for
WarioWare. I would say WarioWare, Wario Land, and even 3D Wario are three separate series.
Well, 3D Wario isn't even a series. That's just a game.
Okay, well, how many games does a series have to be a series?
Plus, I think that is part of the Wario Land series technically. Like, there's some like lore that ties it to that in a way.
But I just have the differentiation because, like, 3D Metroid, 2D Metroid, 3D Zelda, 2D Zelda, 3D Mario, 2D Mario, that they're sort of represented as different series. But that's okay because we actually don't have a new 2D Donkey Kong game, but we do have a new 3D Donkey Kong game, so that Donkey Kong 64 series is represented in a way. But then takes into account the argument of, like, do ports and upgrades count? Do remakes? Would Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze or Donkey Kong Country Returns HD, would those count as, like, Switch games for the Donkey Kong Country series?
Well, I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, that is a very good question.
We gotta lay out all these rules, because I guess there's, like, the, not 2.5D, but there's sort of the stopgap between, like, Mario Land and Mario 3D Land and Mario 3D World for the traditional 3D or 2D. But I think those are still 3D Mario, even if Nintendo doesn't count Land for whatever reason. We still gotta, that's the last 3D Mario we still need on the console. We need Mario 3D Land.
Yeah,
and then even,
that is the last
there hasn't been a well, I guess, like, Woolly World and Crafted World are like pseudo 3D Yoshi, but even that's still like a Yoshi series.
No, not Woolly World, just Crafted.
Yeah. But that's represented anyway. And that's the other thing is, like, are we starting over with the Switch 2, or are there, like, because a lot of them are getting Switch 2 editions. You would think so, because we're getting a fully new Mario Tennis game, and normally each console only gets one tennis game. So, like, do we have to start from scratch with, there's not a 2D Kirby on the Switch 2 technically? Or do we build off of what we already have with the Switch 1?
I don't know.
These are questions and discussions for a later date. I think we've done everything we can do here. I will say, in the regular, I'm sure I'll have more to say once the weeks pass a little bit. Normally I would say, like, this new episode came out this week, but I took a little break around the holidays. So as far as, like, Abbott Elementary and Fallout, I'm a couple episodes behind, so I haven't gotten into any of the episodes that came out in January. So just real quick before we end off, have either of you seen anything about Primal Season 3?
Yeah, I've been.
No, I haven't.
It's been very, good in my opinion.
Because early on, I'm glad they did what they did. I guess if we don't want to, I don't know how much would be a spoiler. I feel like it's all over the marketing. That
No, I feel like at this point you could spoil what happened, like what they're doing, because it's
Yeah.
like that's the whole point of the season. Like it's a season gimmick. It's not like you're hiding
right.
anything.
I'll say it's a time skip. I'll say that. And when I heard about Primal season 3, I was like, oh, I could have sworn it ended at season 2 because of the way season 2 ends. I was like, oh, maybe I'm misremembering. Maybe it didn't end that way. Maybe I'm remembering something else. But no, I was pretty correct. It's just shocking to me. It's not bad. I do think, I don't want to say this is like backpedaling, but because you could do a lot of shows. Like Michael Cusack has like 3, even though I don't think we're getting any more Koala Man. That I don't think this means for sure that they've given up on Unicorn Warriors Eternal. But I wouldn't blame them for giving up on Unicorn Warriors Eternal, because I kind of gave up on it. Even though I think the way I described it in the video is that it sort of acts as like that Samurai Jack 3-episode movie, like the one that airs before the series went weekly. It's like, oh, it sets up the series. That by the end of that first season, or I guess the only season, it felt like, oh, okay, now they're the Unicorn Warriors Eternal. Now we're going to get the show. And that probably is just the end of it. Yeah.
Well, he is possibly doing a new show called Safari Heist, which I'm actually really looking forward to. That one looks really good because that looks like Dexter-esque in a way, and we haven't really got like a good comedy from him.
Dexter's Lab or the show Dexter?
Dexter's Lab.
It's a mixture of both. It's a Dexter light.
Well, no, the Gendy stuff is good.
Right.
Like, the Gendy stuff is very good.
He kills people, but his annoying little sister's always like going into his killing room while he's killing people.
She's trying to out him, but nobody will believe her.
That's kind of like how Dexter actually ends up going.
Yeah, he starts killing people.
Well, no, but his annoying little sister kind of gets in the middle.
Right.
So
they should do with Dexter what they did with Samurai Jack and bring it back for one final adult season. And he's still a kid. He just kills people now.
They did an adult episode. They just
the rude removal. I totally forgot about that. That's crazy. And then we got the censored version. Well, we'll be. This is the only series that has like begun coming out weekly in 2026. I don't have anything to say about individual episodes. We're 3 episodes in right now, and Primal, for better or for worse, because I've always been a weekly watch guy, Primal, for better or for worse, kind of works as one concurrent story. That like the new episode starts where the last one left off. It's just one, I guess, eventual like 4-hour experience. So it's good. I like it. I like this version of the protagonist as well. For whatever reason, he's a lot more likable.
That's funny.
But that's all we
honestly, I've been really enjoying this season so far.
Yeah. I forgot how much I liked Primal.
I remember when season 2 ended and season 3 got greenlit. They're like, oh, well, now we're making an anthology show all about what happens after this. It's like, I guess they didn't do that. And I remember Gendy being like, well, we looked at it. It's like, well, we can't really make Primal without Spear. We can't really do that. So fuck it.
Even though, Primal is sort of about 2 characters. And this is sort of just half of the pie.
True. I mean, honestly, though, like, these episodes have been really good.
Like, yeah. I'm just saying, like, if the reasoning is like, well, we can't do it without this character, it's like, well, you did it without the other character. Also, I like how they very clearly took the term green light to heart. And they greened the shit out of this season.
They did.
That's
honestly, this season's probably, like, the most
green.
Like, fucked up so far, and there's only been 3 episodes.
Yeah. It's because it's sort of the same thing with, like, the robots in Samurai Jack. Like, you can kind of just get away with more dismemberment because of the situation that we're dancing around, I suppose. But that's, I'm sure we'll come back. It'll be multiple weeks. Maybe more stuff will come out. I think the new Muppet special will be out when we come back. But
it's February 4th.
Right, and then March is Ted Season 2, Invincible, and Daredevil Season 2. But that's a ways away. We still have February. There will be more Primal. There will be more Switch to Ultra. A lot is happening in the allotted time, and I don't want to jinx it, but the computer didn't crash the entire stream. Round of applause. I have been your co-parent, BHultra.
And I have been your co-parent, Switchy.
Woohoo, yeah!
And I've been your Funkle Dan.
And I am going to hang up, and then I didn't plan a contingency. I guess I'm going to go play I can't wait to play Donkey Kong Country Returns HD on my Nintendo Switch, and I hope you all do as
Featuring
well.
Pixie.
What was that noise? We gotta wrap this shit up. I gotta pee so bad. We didn't mention the snow either. Probably should have mentioned that part.